The cold air in the waiting room did nothing to chill the fire in Amara's heart. Her fingers clutched a slightly worn leather portfolio, the corners faded from the countless interviews she'd walked into over the past 2 months. Still, today felt different. Today was Hopewell International, one of the biggest digital media companies in the city, a place that could catapult her entire career. And she was more than ready. She glanced around the crowded room. Some of the other applicants wore brand new suits, their shoes shined to mirror perfection, phones glowing with LinkedIn scrolls. Amara's blazer was pressed neatly, but it was thrifted. Her heels were a little scuffed at the back, but her confidence made up for it, or so she kept telling herself. Her resume spoke of grit. 4 years of freelancing. Dozens of successful marketing campaigns. A degree earned through night school while waiting tables. No, she hadn't worked at a big firm, but she knew she had something more than paper. She had fire. When the receptionist finally called her name, Amara rose with grace. She walked into the tall glass-paneled conference room, greeted by 3 people behind the table. A man in his 40s with slicked back hair didn't even look up from his iPad. A younger woman smiled thinly. And the third, a tall brunette named Miss Carrie Langston, the hiring director, glanced at Amara's resume like it had a bad smell. Amara Khan, Langston said slowly, like tasting something unfamiliar. You're the freelancer? Yes, ma'am. I've led over 42 campaigns, and I'm passionate about. Langston raised a hand. I'm sorry. But we're looking for someone with real experience. I do have real experience, Amara said, trying not to let her voice crack. I've grown client engagement over 300% in less than a month. I've worked with small businesses and scaled them with zero budgets. I may not have a big name on my CV, but we need someone who understands real pressure, Langston interrupted, her tone sharp. Not just side hustles. Amara's heart sank. She had been dismissed before, but never this brutally. The younger woman, clearly uncomfortable, tried to change the subject. Tell us about your campaign for the organic skincare brand. It looks impressive. Langston didn't even let her finish. You know what? Let's be honest. We've already selected our top 3 candidates. But thank you for coming. Best of luck. The silence that followed was deafening. Amara stood there, humiliated, for one agonizing moment before she picked up her folder and quietly left the room. Back in the lobby, she sat down, blinking fast to hold back the sting in her eyes. Her phone buzzed, it was a notification from her rideshare app. Her driver was already outside. She quickly stood up, desperate to escape before the tears could fall. But just as she stepped outside, the world shifted. A sleek, black Rolls-Royce Phantom pulled up at the curb, its glossy finish gleaming under the sun. The driver, in full uniform, stepped out and opened the door with a respectful nod. Ms. Khan. The receptionist, who had followed her to hand over a forgotten pen, stopped dead in her tracks. So did 2 other applicants stepping out for coffee. Everyone turned. Amara, frozen for a beat, simply nodded and slid into the luxurious interior. The moment the door clicked shut, the whispering began. Was that a Rolls? Who is she? Did she just get picked up by a chauffeur? Inside the car, the scent of leather and jasmine soothed her racing thoughts. Thanks, Nathan, she whispered to the driver. I needed this. Of course, Mississippi straight to the office. Amara looked out the window, watching as Hopewell's glass tower disappeared behind her. Yes. Let's go to my office. Because what Hopewell didn't know, what none of those smug people behind the desk knew, was that Amara Khan wasn't just some freelancer. She was the founder and CEO of Amberline Studios, a rapidly rising marketing agency that had just secured a multi-million-dollar client 2 days ago. She had built her company under the radar, avoiding the noise and spotlight. She had stayed in the field, working on the ground, getting real results while others played with corporate jargon. And now? She wasn't applying for a job. She was scouting talent. She had walked into Hopewell not to beg for a seat, but to see if they were worth buying out. They weren't. And now, she was heading back to her penthouse office, to finalize her company's acquisition of Glare Media, one of Hopewell's biggest rivals. As the city skyline flashed past the tinted windows, Amara smiled. Let them laugh. Let them reject. They had no idea the Rolls-Royce wasn't the flex. She was.